Hey everyone, welcome to another Turning the Tide video. I'm Cameron Larmer. Today I'm joined by a very special guest. He is an ecologist, New York Times best-selling author, and host of the 10-part PBS series, Saving the Ocean with Carl Safina. Please welcome Dr. Carl Safina.
Hi, Dr. Safina, how are you?
I'm well. Still well so far.
I'm glad to hear it. So I just wanted to dive right into it. You have been to a lot of places all over the world. Your research has taken you to every continent and every ocean. What places have stood out to you?
Oh, so many places have stood out to me. I mean, the world is full of wonderful, miraculous things. The middle of the Pacific Ocean in the Northwest Hawaiian Islands is a super, super special place filled with seabirds like albatrosses and terns and shearwaters. Really big green turtles come up the beach and nest there. There are giant tiger sharks in the lagoons. That's a real standout place. Maybe my favorite place is Southeast Alaska. I really love the landscape. I love the climate in the summer anyway. Haven't been there in the winter, but what I love about it is you have all the good things about civilization there, but plenty of room, not too many people. Doesn't overwhelm the nature. Everything that's supposed to be there is still there. I've also really loved being in the Amazon rainforest, and I love being at home. I love being on Long Island, New York, where I have my dogs and my chickens and my boat, and I go clamming and do some bird watching. So really, anywhere you go, there's plenty of wonderful stuff to experience.
Do you think there's a singular place in the world that really stood out to you in terms of ecological importance?
No, I think really every place is very important in its own way. I've been in the Arctic, I've been in the Antarctic, I've been in the tropical forests, I've been in the tropical coral reefs. They're all extremely important in their own way. They make up the only planet that anybody knows of that has any life, and the only planet we're going to get to call home. So um, yeah, there, everything that's here took many millions of years to get to be what it's been, and it's all very special.
You touched on the ecological interconnectedness of our world. Before that transition you made to examining that interconnectedness, you did a lot of work with seabirds. You got your PhD working with seabirds. What motivated your transition into looking at the world as a larger system?
I guess just the more you learn, the farther out you can see, and you just sort of build out from there. I mean, most people don't start life with a big picture view of the world. You can gain that if every step that you take or every few steps that you take let you see farther. So I guess that's all it is.
It's a great point. And obviously, with all the experience you've had, you've been able to really widen your perspective as far as different parts of the world and seeing that interconnectedness.
Well, I think the main thing that you get from traveling and seeing different parts of the world or meeting different people, the main thing that you get is perspective. The main thing you get is not just some stories or some fun or um, some photos. You get all of those things, but the most important thing is you get perspective of your place in the world and where your home is in the larger world, and what's different and what's special about where you live.
What scientists have inspired your work?
Let's see, Charles Darwin, um, a man named Aldo Leopold, who is most famous for a wonderful book called The Sand County Almanac. He was the first person who really ever said that humans are part of the natural world, not separate from it. I mean, it's an obvious thing and it's a very true thing, but oddly enough, just shows the limits of human intelligence that nobody had ever really said that before. he was writing in the 1930s, and Rachel Carson, a writer who really blew the whistle on the effect that DDT and some other hard pesticides were having, killing off most of the birds that I loved. In fact, threatened to kill off most of the birds that existed because it was being overused for just being sprayed on everything, on farms, on gardens, on lawns. And when I was, how old are you?
I'm 17.
Well, when I was about your age, I was coming home from the school bus one day, and some people, this was while DDT was still able to be used before it was banned, and people were spraying these trees with hoses. They were just spraying the trees with hoses, and bugs were falling out. There were a couple of birds scurrying around eating the bugs, and one of them went into convulsions and died. And that was going on by the millions all across not only the country, but all across the United States and Europe.
You mentioned Aldo Leopold. Aldo Leopold had a moment where he was hunting and he saw emotion in the wolf's eyes that he hunted. Was there a moment like that for you?
Well, that story, that's a wonderful story. It's maybe the most famous story in his book and the most eloquent, and it's very, very short. He had never heard of a chance to pass up shooting a wolf. This was in the early 20th century. And after they shot up this mother and her pups, he got down to the mother as she was dying, and he saw the light go out in her eyes, and it changed him for the rest of his life. I don't think I ever had such a dramatic experience like that, because I kind of started out that way. He started out being a person who was a hunter. I never had that kind of relationship with other animals on land. I did start out as a fishing person. My father used to take me fishing when I was a little kid. And I still go fishing, and my approach to fishing has changed over the years, but it was more gradual, not something that happened once, just a feeling of seeing the fish getting scarcer, feeling like we've overdone it. I never liked guns, and I never hunted with a gun, but I got into falconry, and I used to hunt rabbits with hawks that I caught and trained. I did that for a short period of time, a few years, and then I thought, it's fine that the hawks do this. That's what they have to do, but I don't necessarily need to be part of it. It wasn't. I kind of lost interest in being the agent of that interaction between the hawks and the rabbits. So, I would say my sentiments became very similar to his, but it was not a one-time dramatic turn. It was a lot of little things over a long time.